Whoop whoop. What up, juggalos and juggalettes? This is Cheshire. Today I'm going to be talking to you about something I was talking to my friend about earlier. There's a chick that he's talking about, and he don't like her because she wears Nazi pride. We were talking about this today, and I kind of got on the big tangent about the swastika. Um, some of you may know him. His name's Joshua, but he goes by the name Nappy J. He's the owner, and he just made me the co-owner of Big Daddy Nappy Productions. And it's a Juggalo Juggalette independent movie production company. But anyway, what I was talking about is that we were having this thing back and forth about what the swastika means and how it means hate and all that shit, which I agree. I mean, if I see some fucker walking by me giving me dirty looks and he happens to have the swastika on his arm, unless he says to me, I'm gonna fucking fly off the handle, I mean, because, I know what that symbol means, because Hitler, it's supposed to mean, white pride and, prejudice, hate, bigotry, just plain, evilness. Not the good kind of evil, because there's good kind of evil, too. But, what I want to talk about today is basically how fucking ignorant people need to pick up a fucking textbook. Or we have internet now, people. Just Google something, Just take something but a couple taps of your keyboard and you've got it at your fingertips. And I'm talking it because it just constantly gets on my fucking nerves how these ignorant fuckers want to claim the swastika and white pride and all that blah blah blah, hate you because of this and blah blah blah, when bitch, this, Hitler, it wasn't his sign, right? Hitler was basically the equivalent of someone who steals other people's stories. He was a plagiarist. Yes, he was. I'm sorry, all my Nazi people out there. Yes, Hitler was a plagiarist. Your precious God or whatever the fuck he is was plagiarist. The word swastika wasn't even his. You guys know that, right? Swastika was not Hitler's word. It was an Indian word. It was an Indian word. It means to be good. That's what swastika means. It's actually a conversion from a Sanskrit word, which I forgot what the Sanskrit word is. But if you translate that Sanskrit word, it means to be good. So swastika, and the only thing different that Hitler did different with his sign is that he turned it counterclockwise. That's all he did, like a little bitty, like that. That's all he did. But other than that, that symbol, that was a Chinese symbol. Yeah, it was a Chinese symbol. That's not even his. The swastika's been used as far back as 3,000 fucking years. It goes as far back as almost as ancient fucking Egypt. Some even say it's probably as far as 1,000 BC or BCE for people who go by before Christ era. It was used in Japan. It was used in China. It was used in India, Southern Europe. Fuck, it was used in Iran. Yes, Iran. Like I said, the word means to be good. That's what it means. The swastika, for 3,000 years, represented life, the sun, power, strength, and good luck. That's what it was supposed to mean. I mean, fuck, even earlier 20th century, they were putting swastikas on cigarette cases, postcards, coins, fucking buildings. During World War I, for all you military buffs, I'm sure the military buffs know it, during World War I, you could find them on the shoulder patches of the American 45th Division. And in a little, and before World War II, you could find them on the air, well, the Finnish army or whatever, they used that sign before World War II happened. And I think it's kind of stupid that these people want to go around saying, it means white pride, this is great. Yeah, that swastika was on ancient Chinese silk drawing. And cultures The swastika symbolized health and life. Because in some cultures, the turning does mean bad luck or misfortune. So when he turned it, when it's turned, he was taking the correct symbol. It means bad luck or misfortune. That's why what it means. Um, because like I said, it meant life, good luck. Freaking like I said, in Europe, it was used on Neolithic rock carvings. Fuck, you could find it in Troy. I'm not kidding. They used that says maybe the first. It became a more commonly used sign in ancient Troy, which is in the northwest of today's Turkey. For all you people who don't know your geography, um, um, Wiccans use the symbol too. Like I said, because since Wiccans incorporate other symbols from different cultures into our religion, which is basically Wicca is basically just a goulash of different symbols. And one of the symbols, which is called Bridget's Cross, is kind of like a swastika, except the lines aren't there's no harsh lines. It's more of like kind of rounding of the lines, and the ends of each point, it kind of swirls in. So it's a swirly cross, I guess you could say. But in China, the swastika was known as a wan. I think this in Japan, and they used it in Japan, but it may have been used to show like a huge number, like 10,000. Um, it was commonly used among the Hittites, I think it's called. They live in Turkey, and in Greece, from around 700 BC, where in those cultures it was used on ceramic pots. It was used on vases. It was used on coins. It was used on buildings in their time that were considered old. It was to symbolize the iniquity of it. It was used by Swedish manufacturers of electric machinery to indicate electric power plants. So they know where their electric power plants were. They stick that on there, and that's what it looks like. The spectrum of the swastika's meaning is supposed to be basically what it's supposed to be centered around is power, energy, and migration. Like tribal, it's closely associated with stuff that have to do with tribal migration symbols, which I'm pretty sure people who are into the tribal stuff knows what they look like. Actually, the swastika was also used as it's actually still a common sign in Finland. The victory of the whites during the Civil War of 1918 was actually the victory of farm owners, the middle class, and the squires over the commonest workers and crofters, or the Reds. That symbol can be seen on the Finnish cross of freedom. And it was made as a decoration for about 1918 by the winning side. Like I said, it was also a sign for the Finnish Air Force from like 1918 to like the 1950s. There's some confusion whether the clockwise or the counterclockwise version, which one is positive and which ones are the negative, when actually they've been shown in both their counterclockwise and clockwise ways. They've been shown in both kind of ways. So, this symbol was used. I mean, come on, it was used fucking before Christ. I mean, it was used by the Celts, and it was mostly found in like the Euphrates, I believe it's called. I think that's how you say it, Euphrates. The Tigris Valley, and it was also found in some parts of the Indus Valley. And those are the ones that look like to be at least 3,000 years old. Like I said, they can be found in ancient Troy. Some cases, the swastika would be the same meaning like a cross would be for the Christians, or the Star of David would be for Jews, or the Pentacle would be for Wiccans. They are all symbols for the sun, the highest god and supreme power and life force. Alright? Um, that's what the swastika means. And, it really irks me that these people are just so fucking stupid. And they think that, the swastika is supposed to be used for white power and hate and evilness. And no. And you should really go to school and stop skipping out and get drunk with your friends. Or, don't mind you, I can't tell anyone to do because I do that too. But the swastika itself goes way, way, way far back than Hitler. I mean, if it wasn't for Hitler, no one would probably even acknowledge the swastika. No one would even... I mean, did you know that it was used for Buddha? It was used as a sign for Buddha in Buddhism. It was used, like I said, Hinduism. It was used all over. If it wasn't for Hitler and basically his massacring basically a ton of Jews, which basically, that was his logo. When Hitler came, that swastika was what you saw. And because of basically that whole genocide, that was the symbol of what he was doing. So, the killing of all those people with that sign kind of intermingled together, and that's the sign that's imprinted on every mind because that was his sign. And, you always compare other stuff to other stuff. So, you got the massive killing of Jews, which symbolizes Hitler. He was responsible for it. So you think Hitler, you think swastika, because he was always sporting that fucking swastika. It would put on the armbands of his soldiers, everything. He flew the flag, all that. So you immediately put this simple sign to evil and hate because that's what he stood for. But I sit there and laugh at these ignorant people who think that that's what it's supposed to mean. It doesn't mean that. It does not mean that at all. I mean, yeah, it means that for that part in history. But if you're someone like me, you know there is a different story to it. As the whole entire human race recycles our history. Like I said, it was used as far back as 1000 BC. He recycled that. Wiccans, we recycle the different religious backgrounds of different cultures. That was recycled to make our religion. So, before people start getting all happy and uppity that they support swastika and that they're white pride and all that shit, you should really sit back and think about how ignorant you're being and you're thinking of one point in time. Like I said, I'm not in here to condone the use of a swastika. Me being black, I know people out there who rock the swastika. That's what they use it to stand for. They use it to stand for to be hateful and prejudiced and all that stuff. That's what it's used for them. But if more people picked up a fucking history book, they'd understand that wasn't what it was used for. Before Hitler came and did it, it was used for good. That's the way Hitler used it is basically how I describe fucking the movie Twilight. Where do you get twinkling, sparkling vampires from vampires who can't go out in the sun? They're two different things that someone combined and made it totally opposite of what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be that. But, like I said, I'm not condoning it. Me being myself, I know what most people see the swastika used for. I know what their opinions are of it. So, me being myself, since I know the meaning behind it, I know what good it's used for, but I'm not going to go around sporting it because to some people who don't bother to use Google or go to the library, they don't know that it comes from another point in time. It comes as far back in our history. Because me being myself, I'm a history buff. I love learning about different ancient cultures, like ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, and I just want to say all those people who think that that's what the symbol was for and was only used for, and that's all it was seen as, are stupid motherfuckers and should be dragged into a field and shot because you're a waste of air and you're wasting that brain of yours for one thing.